to Love Radio to the Roger and Ingle Sports Hour. And it's another packed hour, lots of sports, lots of track and field, lots of cricket, tennis going on, Roger. Last week we had Formula One started, and it's the thing with Formula One, Roger, if you watch it,
Yeah.
it's like from the first race, you know who's going to win the champion.
Usually. Good morning, everyone. But you're absolutely correct. You know what? I watched Max winning that race, and I'm like, I don't know if it's him, but his car is just better than everybody else's.
I mean, the car is so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Block him? I'm not sure. But it becomes really difficult for him to lose. I was hoping Mercedes would be better than they are, but they're good, but they're just not great. And if you want to get great, you got to go with Max Verstappen and his crew.
And then you've got Alonso actually came pretty good too, and he drove well. And the thing about it is that Mercedes are supplying the engines for Aston
I
Martin,
know this, I
you
know
know.
this, but
So
it was awesome watching Alonso come back because he's a great driver, and
yeah,
we haven't heard much about him recently, but now he's back and he was awesome. He was good
he was good.
to
He
make the
was.
podium. I was like, okay, but let's see what the season brings forth with him. I don't think he's gonna. It's hard to beat Max, as you know,
It's gonna be hard to beat
but
Max.
you never know. Sometimes the adjustments are made with the engines as the season goes along, and if Mercedes can figure it out for Aston Martin, then I figure they can figure it out for themselves, right?
They
So
should be able to, but
I'm hoping that they will because I want to see
yeah,
Lewis back on top. I
yeah.
want to
Lewis
see
is
Lewis.
not happy at all, and he's making it known, and he's saying it's the design of the car is wrong. They're
Yeah,
stuck with the same design with had problems last year, and
yeah.
actually, they've said they're going to make some drastic changes, so let's see if that happens.
I
And
hope that doesn't mean cutting him, but I mean, in
no, I
general,
don't think so. I think
are they going
changes
to
to
make
the
change to the
design
car?
to the car.
But
Yeah,
yes, I think they have to. You
they
can't
have
be getting beat
to.
the way they're getting beaten and not making any change. I mean, if you continue doing what you're doing, you're never going to win. So they have to make some changes. Drastic. It has to be drastic because it will be what 3 years now, almost 2 years and a half, and of
Yeah,
just
I've
going.
going to three since he
Yeah,
lost that
the
one that
championship was stolen.
stolen from him, and since
Yeah,
that it's been downhill for sure.
it's been downhill. So I think they deserve to bounce back, and they will.
They
You know
were.
what? Mercedes is best car in the world, as I always say. But at the end of the day, they are winners, and they will find a way to get back on top.
Yeah, I think they will. And well, Toto Wolff, the head of Mercedes, he said they've got another Hamilton has maybe another 3 years racing, and they will get it right before he leaves. So
Well, they may get it right in the early part of the 3 years, not at the end of the 3 years when he's
exactly,
old, right? So I think he knows. I mean, not saying he's old or anything, but he's not
he's in his
21 anymore,
his
right?
late 30s, right? Mid to late,
Yes.
yeah. So
So I mean, he wants to win. He wants to
yeah,
win. So give him a chance to win, and I still believe he's the best driver out there.
I think so. And I mean, to come fifth in that car, which just did nothing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
anyway, next week then they go to Saudi, and let's see if there's any improvements for Mercedes.
And it doesn't take long to make improvements with these vehicles. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I expect by maybe not Saudi, but the one after that, I think you'll probably see a better Mercedes vehicle coming out.
for sure. Couple other things happening in sports, Roger. And tennis is back. The Indian Wells has started, and some good matches so far. And there was some discussion about Coco Gauff saying that she's gotten some um, tips from Serena, but Coco came on and said she didn't get any tips from Serena. She said
Really?
she done really. She last time she saw Serena was at the U.S. Open, and they don't have numbers. They don't talk on the phone, so she don't know where that rumor started.
So why would somebody start a rumor like that? That's
I
not the nonsense that happens. Sometimes you have to wonder what's going on out there.
Yeah, it's really just people speculating, and
Yeah.
maybe somebody just said something, and some reporter picked up on it and made a story of it.
They picked it up and they ran with it
They ran
wherever
with
they
it.
wanted to
So,
go. So that's
so
crazy. That's unfortunate too. I mean, Coco Golf could have probably just kept quiet and just let it slide, but I guess she's not. So
she's not going to do that. She's not the type of person to just back down. So
yeah, yeah. So wow,
she's letting it known that she's not getting any help.
not getting any help. She's doing her own thing
She's
and she's
doing her
doing well,
thing.
all on her own.
Yeah. And in golf, Roger, the Players Championship this weekend, and the big news is that McIlroy, world number three, he didn't make the cut. He had
Yeah,
a tough day.
I was kind of surprised at that because usually he's fairly consistent, and to see him go out this early was just shocking to me. Really shocking. He's a great player. I think he's one of the better ones out there, but I don't know what happened to him this weekend.
I was watching, and he looked like he was just fighting with himself. It's like nothing was going right. It's a
Right for
tough
him.
course, but
Yeah. But he's
he's
better than this. So,
he's better than that. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, what is he doing out there? It's like he was just, sometimes you have bad days. I
yeah,
agree. But usually champions, the world's top players find a way to get over it, right? Or do it well enough to go through. So I'm a tad surprised that he couldn't even do well enough to get through.
yeah. And it's golf is such a leveling sport because Kurt Kitayama he won last weekend.
Hmm.
Everybody was singing his praises, and he didn't make the cut this
He
weekend either. He
didn't.
missed it. The
He's
world
still
number,
ce- he's still
yeah,
celebrated.
he's
I'm
still
laughing.
most likely. The world number one, John Ram, he was having a tough time. He pulled
Yeah.
out after the first day, said he had a stomach virus, so he
Okay.
withdrew.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you look at the top of the leaderboard,
Leaderboard.
it's a Canadian.
Shocking, eh?
Yeah, Adam Svensson. He's at 9 under and he's leading. So let's hope he can stay there. And two other Canadians are up in pretty. They were early this morning, but Pendrith he's tied for ninth now.
Hmm.
Yeah, so a couple of Canadians in there.
Which is unusual to see two in the top 10, but yeah, let's see how it flushes out. It'd be really, really good to see one of them go all the way or make top three. So I'm really, really optimistic about that for this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a tough course, and 2 more days to go.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, and it's
Well, you play golf, Ingle, so you know
yeah.
anything can
Oh man.
happen.
Sometimes there are days when you feel like I'm done with this.
You know what I will say, and I say this, without any shame, that that game is just better than me. I can't not figure it out. I can't do well consistently.
No,
I
no
don't know
one
what it's
does.
gonna take. Maybe it's gonna take playing every day for a little while. But honestly, every time I go, I make three good shots and then about 10 bad ones.
But you know what, Roger? I used to feel like the same way too. But then when you look at the professionals, who that's all they do, that's their job,
Exactly.
and then they have bad days, and
And they have bad days
sometimes,
too.
yeah, sometimes they miss some shots, and I said that looks familiar.
That
Yeah. So
is
I'm
true.
good. Yeah,
That is like something I did last week.
yeah. So I just yeah, but we'll keep an eye on the players and see who wins that. And got a lot to talk about, so we want to get into some cricket, and it's a lot of cricket that's going on. There's three matches: India versus
Test
Australia,
matches, right?
test matches.
Yeah,
You've got Sri Lanka, New Zealand. Sri Lanka need to win these two to have any chance of being in the world champions. And then South Africa, West Indies, which finished early this morning. So we'll start with the Australia and India, and quite a contrast to the last couple of matches, Roger, which finished in 2.5 days.
I
This
know.
is the third day, and we don't even have an end to the first innings. And thanks to some good batting by Australia, Usman Khawaja, who said that he's been to India 3 times. This is his
Hmm.
third. The first 2 times he carried the water for all the matches.
Oh,
He's
really?
gotten his chance now, and he has scored 180.
Wow,
Uh,
I
and
saw
Cam,
that.
yeah, and Cameron Green getting his first ever Test 100. There's a lot of hopes for Cameron Green as an all-rounder, and he got his first Test 100 on such a difficult place. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looks good. When the next highest was 41. So
I mean, 480. I mean,
a
wow,
good score, very
that's a
good
really,
score.
really solid score. I don't
But
know what to say about this test because this feels like a test match. The other two felt
it,
like a ODI, but
it did
this one is a real test match. So I don't know. I don't think they're gonna have time to have a true
a winner, right?
winner. Right?
No,
Yeah.
because I don't think so either. But you never know what can happen in India in the last 2 days because the 3 days gone and we don't have an end of first innings yet.
First
But
innings,
in
yeah.
India, 289 for three, and Shubman Gill, who a lot were calling for his head, he scored 128,
I know you gotta threaten some guys, put their back against the wall, and then they show up.
and another person who they were threatening, Kohli. He's on
Yeah, they
59.
they need to leave Coley alone. He's my player.
And he's gonna come back. So
He's
as much as
one of the
like,
best ever. So they need to leave him alone.
it's just a couple days ago, I saw someone put up his scores in the last 13 matches, and I think he had 150 in that. But I think Coley says, you know what, I'm gonna just shut up a few people, and he's
Yeah,
probably gonna get 100.
I
That,
believe so too. This is
that
looking like it's going to be a one inning game, but
yeah,
I believe he's going to get his 100. He's currently on 59, right? So
he's on 59. Yeah,
when he settled in, he usually goes,
yeah,
gets his century.
I think he's gonna get 100. So he looks very good. So we'll keep an eye on that game and see how it goes and update next week on the final result. India must play for a result if they want to ensure that they will get into the test finals.
Yes.
So they need to push it a bit. The other game that's ongoing with New Zealand and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka looked very good. 355 in the first innings, 87 by Mendes, 50 by Kanaratne, and nobody else. A couple of double figures. Matthews 47, 46 to De Silva, Chandamal got 39. For Matt Henry had 4 wickets, and Tim Southey still bowling
Yeah,
well. He
I
had five
noticed.
wickets, and in the New Zealand innings, Darryl Mitchell 102 because they looked in trouble for a while at
Yeah.
76 for three, but then Darryl Mitchell has scored well 102, 67 by Tom Latham, and 72 by Matt Henry. So Matt Henry's having a good all-round game
All
so
around
far.
game. I noticed that. Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
and 83 for three. Sri Lanka batting a second time, um, a lead of just 65.
A little word for them now. I think, as you said, they need to win, and I don't think they can do that in this game. I think, I don't know. New Zealand just seems a little more solid, and you can't start off not even getting to 100 and losing 3 wickets already. So
Yeah, I think
it's going to be challenging. If they get Matthews pretty quickly, then yeah, they're in trouble
yeah, I think advantage. I think definitely advantage New Zealand. So
at this point.
at this point, yeah, for sure. And New Zealand, if they can get them out early, run to them on the fourth day, then I
Yeah,
think New Zealand has a very good chance of winning
I
this
think so
match.
too. I think so too.
Because I don't think the bowling of
Sri
not bad,
Lanka.
but Sri Lanka, I don't think they have the bowling to trouble New
The
Zealand.
penetration is not. I mean, they're good bowlers, but I don't think there's any strike bowler or any googly spinner that is just going to blow your mind that can turn the game. But yeah, they're
Exactly,
going to be solid though. They're going to be
for
solid,
sure.
which is good. You need to have a solid bowling attack, but in a game like this, you need to find somebody who can get wickets when they want.
Yeah, it needs consistently.
Yeah.
And the other test match, Roger, the team that we love so much.
Oh, my heartbeat.
Yeah,
I used to
it's
get up when I was a little kid and watch and listen because at that time it wasn't watching. Listen
to
to
listen on the
cricket at
radio.
5 in the morning on the radio. So, you know how dear this sport is to my heart.
I remember,
West
yeah.
Indies cricket. So
Yeah, it's transistor radios listening.
there you go. It was the
Yeah,
best. I enjoyed that. So you can imagine when I could actually go to the games and actually watch it at Sabina Park and watch it on TV now. Awesome. It's just that, yeah, when I was going to the games, it was fun. Watching it on TV has not been fun because it's been like about, what is it, 40 years now, 50 years, 100 years since West Indies has done anything.
done anything, yeah.
So,
It's on up and down.
well, they're mostly down. They're
Down, yeah.
mostly down.
And I must confess, before this test match, I was speaking to a friend of mine and he was talking about, West Indies. And I said, you know what? I believe West Indies are good enough to beat South Africa because I thought South Africa
I
batting
thought
is
so
not
too.
that great.
I thought
And
so too.
I thought we West Indies had a good enough bowling, but it seems like at there's always that one batsman that they let off and let get away and score some runs. In this case, again, it was Aiden Makram who got 96. He must be kicking himself for the way he got out to try to play a fancy shot and got caught on
Hmm.
96. And then Tony Dizorzi playing in his only second match. He got 85, batted very well.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so take away those two, and you had 320.
Yeah,
Alzari Joseph. I mean, he's bowling fantastic. He's
he's
turning
doing
into a
pretty
good
well.
bowler. 3 wickets. Kyle Mayers was the other good bowler. He had three.
He's pretty good. I mean, He's an all-rounder that I've always felt is just an average all-rounder, but he has his time when he bats really, really well, and then times when he bowls really, really well. So
For
yeah,
sure.
a lot of talent is there, and he's a good guy to have on the team.
Yeah, for sure. And West Indies have replied 251 thanks to 81 not out by Jason Holden. What I think, South Africa, and your thoughts on this, Raj, is that in Zimbabwe, West Indies, Brathwaite and Chanderpaul looked very good, but on the bouncier wickets, they
They,
seem a
they,
bit
they,
suspect.
they can't get to 20.
Right, and
It's like, what is going on? I mean, I don't think Shana Paul has passed five, or I don't know what's going on with him.
it's
He's
not a
not
good year.
adjusting. I would say he's not adjusting to these pitches.
No, he's not adjusting to this pitch, and I think a lot of times I look at them and I don't even want to compare too much, but when you think back of the games that we listened to on the radio, or even we got a chance to watch whenever West Indies came to play, say in St. Kitts for me, it was friendly matches that they came to play at the time because they
Uh,
didn't play test matches there back then. But you in Jamaica would have seen the
Survivor.
batsmen,
Yeah.
the batsmen back then took the attack to the bowlers,
They always did. And they
but
made
West Indies
adjustments. I mean,
exactly
they talk about Greenwich and Haynes, but those two guys, if they
they
go there and the pitch is not to their liking or they need to, they spend the time and they adjust, then they take on the bowler.
yeah
They
that's
found a way.
yeah, but these batsmen now they seem like they're in survival mode from ball one.
And they never come out of
Yeah,
it.
and
And
you
it's like,
can.
okay, this is not my pitch, this is not my day. I don't know what they're saying to themselves, but they're just stuck in first gear. They're not
They're,
changing gears at all.
yeah, they're really stuck. And I think West Indies just played some. The batting has been poor. Reefer again, he batted fine in the first innings, grind through 60 odd in the first Test match, but since then nothing. And I can see Reefer and Royston Chase. Like personally, I don't see them in West Indies colours going forward.
I mean, I'm still surprised that Reefer is actually in West Indies colors right now. Royston Chase, I can see some people may think, but Reefer, no. I'm not
Royston
sure how he even got in. I mean, yeah,
Well, they like him as a hard worker and stuff, but if you're gonna take Reefer, you've got Shea Hope, you've got even
exactly.
Bravo back home. I mean, right there in the team with you, you've got Athanaze, you've
Yeah, you
got
have the young kid there
Thomas.
waiting. I'd prefer to
Yeah,
see him out there and having a bad day than to see Reefer out there having a bad day.
yeah. So I think West Indies let this one get away from them. They did well to bring it back down to 69 lead, but then in the second inning they were doing pretty good as well because three for 32, but and then four for 69, but they allowed Bavuma to dictate. And Bavuma, who's only making his second Test century, made it a big one, 172.
And the guy
And
hasn't made a century in what, 7 years or something like
no,
that.
yeah, and he's got two ducks in the first Test match.
Yes, yes. He was under pressure
Uh,
as the captain, right?
Under
So
pressure, yeah, he
he
scored a
showed up.
28 in the first innings, but this time he just changed and he took the attack to them.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, he
You
took
got
the
to do.
attack to the West Indies.
Don't let the bowler get into a rhythm on you, right? You got
Yeah.
to get the bowler uncomfortable. That's the only way to do this.
If you look at the scorecard, I mean, 172 by Bavuma. No one else got any plus 50. The next
I
highest
know.
was 42,
I know.
so 321. Um, if you just did your homework, and worked on him and get him out, West Indies always seem to let that one batsman take it over
Oh
from them.
yeah. I'm
And,
surprised they let Bavuma because I thought they would have done a lot of homework on him. I mean, everybody know who he is and he's the captain. So
mhm,
yeah, he got 170, and I'm like, okay, he's taking his bat to the West Indies, and he's gonna show them that this is how you do it when you're in a test match.
exactly. And when West Indies bat, well, unlike you, Roger, I don't know, my body's programmed that way, but I happen to wake up about just about when West Indies were starting to bat. So
There you go.
so I turned on the TV at three something in the morning,
Wow.
and then I saw Brathwaite and Chanderpaul fighting away. They were 20-21 for before they lost the first wicket, and then it quickly went from 21 for one to 26 for five. And I thought, you know what?
You went back to bed, right?
Yeah, I went back to bed. I
This
went
is
back to
over.
bed. Yeah, and then I got up this morning, checked the score, 106 all out, thanks to, I guess, Joshua De Silva and Jason Holder.
Yeah,
This
Holder held it down with the bat a
a
bit
little
this
bit,
game.
yeah. But West Indies have to find out what's going wrong, and
You know what though, Ingle, and as I keep saying, is that we've been saying this since the late '90s, going into the early 2000s, that West Indies need to figure out how to be great again. And they've had flashes along the way, but in general, when they're up against a good team, they struggle. When they're up against a poor team, they barely win. So maybe they're just mediocre now, and we just have to accept that until something changes. But I, right now, Ingle, I mean, I look at what Brian Lara said. He says, you know what?
yeah,
He's offered his services. He's a performance mentor now, and in time, we will see benefits. And you know what? I actually believe him. I think over time, if they have the right management team and Lara is there and all of that, they will get better. But
he
they're not
said
there
that.
yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah, he said give it a year or a bit more.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
I
he
don't think
said.
it's going to be a year or that
I
because the
I think so.
selectors are doing a lot of nonsense, in my opinion. So
Yeah,
you need everybody to be in sync. He has to have the right players to be mentoring and not be changing who he's mentoring every week because the side is going to, I can almost bet you, the next side is going to be different from this one.
of course it's going to be much different. I'm sure. Well, they don't have Test cricket for a while, so they're going to focus on the shorter version. Let's hope they get the right mixtures and they do that.
They seem to do a little better job with the shorter versions, I must admit. The Test cricketers, I mean, yeah, I mean, not to say they're all bad. I mean, they gave England a rough ride and all of that, but in general, the Test cricketers haven't done well.
If they can have the passion that they can play with when they play England, because when you listen to the reasons why they play England so tough, it's because of the colonial days and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So have that passion when you play everybody.
Find
Find
something cold out to
something.
say. When I'm going out
Yeah,
there, I'm going to do it for this. This is why I've got to do this. They
yeah.
just have no
So
passion. They just play.
they just play,
They just play.
and then these same players are now going to go home play in the regional
For
matches
the
and score a lot of runs, and you're going to say, "Hey, pick them again because
You
they did
can't do
well."
anything but pick them because yeah,
Yeah,
they are the best that you. Which is the problem I'm noticing now is that actually what is out there is probably the best that we have,
it's probably the best we have for
and,
real.
and they're
So
just not good enough now. So something needs to change. Maybe we got to look at who's coming up and make sure that those are better. Um, but yeah, it's a challenge for them. What I like though, I think other than this last innings here, I think Kohler did a decent job with them as the coach. So Kohler
Andrew,
seems
yeah,
to have had some got their respect and he got them working. It seemed, and he
yeah.
gave they had a shot. They had they really had a shot to win these games, both of them actually.
I think they did. I think they should have won at least one for sure. And yeah, we'll see what happens there because there's a lot to do, a lot of work to do. And I looked at an example today, like Gill for the New Zealand for India.
Yeah,
He played under 19 with Alec Athanaze. Athanaze was the highest run scorer in that tournament at that
yeah,
time.
yeah,
But then you look from then to now, Gill has gone on to play 41 first class matches, while Athanaze has only played 22. So
There you
twice
go.
as much. So I think there needs to be a system of playing more cricket. This thing about playing 5 matches once against each other and
Yeah, yeah.
keep and you keep blaming money. You know that you need money. Go and look for sponsors.
Get,
You're paying.
there you
You're,
go. That's your job. Get
yeah,
the
there's
sponsors if you
someone.
want to help the sport, right?
There's an English guy who's in charge of sponsorship for West Indies cricket. So what is he doing? Bring in some money.
Get it from England. Go wherever you need to go. But I mean,
Exactly.
and right now, I think West Indies have the luxury of being so close to the US, who's trying to build a program, right? And they have decent guys over there. Play some games again. Just find games to play.
The
Make your
youngsters should be
yeah,
playing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Get the kids coming up to play competitively as often as you can, and then you have a shot. You can't be
for
expected
sure.
to come out of the wilderness and just go make 100 the first time you're out there. You got to be ready when you get out there, and they're just not ready most of the time. Just not
That
ready.
is so true. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on West Indies and they start Thursday with their 1 day matches. Let's hope there's
That
a
I'm looking forward
difference.
to. Well, not so much.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the T20, but yeah, the one day there should be interesting as well.
it should be very interesting for sure. And talking about 1 day, England and Bangladesh wrapped up their 1 day series with a surprise win for Bangladesh.
Shocking.
And it's
I
shocking.
mean,
Yeah,
I
it was
must
a
admit, I was
2-1.
like, what? They did
Yeah.
what?
And then they started the T20 series, and Bangladesh on a roll. They won. England won 56 in the 20, and Bangladesh 158 for 4 in. 18 overs, so they had 2 overs, 12 balls to spare, quite a
Yeah.
lot.
But
So,
is it England's? I don't think it was England's strongest team though.
well, not the strongest, but you've got some good players. You got Josh Butler, Phil Salt, Devin Milan. But a couple of players are still missing, yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, Sam Curran is batting at number 6.
Okay.
That's not normal
Yeah.
for England.
I just
And
think they
then
took them a little for granted that yeah, it's Bangladesh, and now
possibly.
they're finding out that no, it's not just Bangladesh. This is a new Bangladesh who's giving them a hell of a time.
And that series continues tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting. Bangladesh will be looking to wrap it up, I'm sure, get another win and
Yeah.
win that 3-match series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If they can do that, that would be, you wouldn't hear the end of that. But yeah, that would be good to see.
Very good to see. And I don't know if you've been watching the WPL and the Women's Premier League, and some fantastic cricket. If you ever get a chance to just look at it,
I've glanced at it from time to time, and I'm like,
yeah,
ah, the women's cricket is very exciting these days.
it is. And to see Haley Matthews, she's playing with her freedom, and she said she's not under any pressure because she's not captain. She have a bunch of good players around her, and she's second in batting and second in bowling
I
runs.
noticed that. I was looking at
Wickets,
it and said, oh my God, she is coming into her own. You
she
know,
is.
almost every game she's batting or bowling, and she's just right up there. Any game you can look at, you can see that she's having fun.
She's having fun. And actually, Ravinder Ashwin commented saying that it's unbelievable that she did not get selected in the first round and she only went for base price in the second round. And
You know, you see what West Indies
he's,
cricket does to you.
yeah, exactly. Because I mean,
It lowers your value
yeah,
when
he
you're
said
not
what a
doing well.
player. Yeah, he said what a player, and she is a fantastic player.
She's been awesome, 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 awesome. Really, really
She
happy for her.
she has been awesome. And just to wrap up and get on to some other stuff. Dane Van Niekerk, you might remember that name, the South African female player.
Yeah.
She's planning to retire from international cricket. Remember she was dropped for the World Cup, and she said, "Listen, she's been doing some thinking, and you must realize when something comes to an end. Um, maybe
Yeah.
she maybe she need to let what's his name know that our famous quarterback."
I mean, from Tampa Bay or from New
Yeah,
England.
Tampa Bay. Yeah,
I keep forgetting his name. I mean, he's not that forgettable, but Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Because there's some rumor about him coming back again,
He
and
better not.
yeah, let's hope not.
He
But
better
so
not.
she, yeah,
Better not. Both him and
so
Ronaldo needs to go find somewhere to sit and
just sit
do
and
nothing.
just relax. And finally, in cricket, Pakistan is discussing the possibility of resting Captain Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan for the T20I series against Afghanistan and later against New Zealand. It's about workload management, and they have two major tournaments coming up later in the year: the Asian Cup and also the World Cup. So they're talking about giving them a rest and be
You
ready
know
for
what?
that.
It's decision wise, I think it's a solid decision to make. I mean, I'm not sure the team is going to be without Baba Azim not there.
Right?
He's their engine, but maybe they need to find out. Maybe
Maybe
that's what
they
they
do.
really need to do.
Maybe
So
that's what they're trying
I
to do.
think West Indies need to think ahead, plan ahead, like how these guys are trying to think ahead and plan ahead.
Yeah, that's what I have no problem with stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something that can be done for sure. So I think that's it for cricket, Roger, because
Before you
we got
go, I mean, I saw
mhm,
they got Samuel Badri as
as a
an
coach.
assistant. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think about that move? I mean, I listened to him, and when he's commentating, he sounds like he knows what he's doing. I know when he was bowling, he was solid as a spin
he
bowler.
was solid. Yeah.
So, is this a good move?
I think it's a good move. I think he's going to help the bowling department, the spinners especially, because I
Okay.
don't think our spinners are that good when it comes to one day. We don't keep the. So I think he's going to help, and I think Badger, as you said, he seemed to understand the game when you listen to
Yes,
his commentary.
he
He's got a
does.
good head on his shoulders,
Yes, he does.
and I think that he will bring something to the West Indies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to him. Guys like him and Andre Coley. I mean, Andre never played a lot of tests. Badger never played a lot of tests, but I
Yeah.
think these guys other sports prove that you don't have to play at the highest level.
Yeah,
So I
you
think
gotta
these
love
guys,
the game. You gotta love the
yeah,
game that you're doing, and you know what I know for sure. Coley does.
yeah,
Badri, listening to him, he talks with such passion, so I believe he does as well. So you gotta get passionate people out there, not too cocky, but willing to work hard, and
I
you should
think
be
so.
fine.
And I think that's one of the things West Indies need to get away from is thinking that you must have played Test cricket in order to be a
I
good
know,
coach,
I
and
know.
that's totally far from the truth.
You look at the top track and field coaches in Jamaica, Glenn Mills and Stephen Francis, and Glenn Mills tried out to make the track team, couldn't make it, but he was so passionate and loved the sport. He devoted his entire life to the sport. And look at him, he built
He's
Usain Bolt and Johan
the
Blake
best.
and
Yeah,
Stephen Francis. He was a thrower, and same thing. And look at him, he coaches the fastest people on earth. So
yeah,
sometimes it's not just how far you got as an individual in the sport, it's how passionate you are about the sport and how willing you are to work hard to learn everything and to do really well at the sport and dedicate
exactly.
your time to do it. And that's what it requires, not a big name.
No, it is not a big name, and some people just have the eye for that special. Don't know. Okay,
There
this
you
is what you
go.
need to tweak a little bit. You
There
know.
you go. There you go. I
Yeah.
was listening to music the other day, and Donovan Germain, who's the producer for Buju Banton, had said, "You know what? I tried these things. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the mixing. I couldn't do the DJing. But I
Hmm.
have an ear for what is right.
So what is
I
right?
can tell you when you have a hit song, and that's all you need, right?
Yep,
You don't have to be the greatest at any of these skills, but you got to have that package that you bring that you're good at, and you got to be respected for it. And I think that's what wrestlers need to look at.
for sure. So, Roger, we can go on to some track and field because I know there's a lot happening. I mean, I watched a couple of races yesterday, and wow, some
Yes.
fantastic times. And women are, I'm just one, I can't wait for the outdoor season.
I know the outdoor season has already kicked off. I think there's one race that started in Texas last week, but trust me, I can't wait either. Ingle. It's just bring on the outdoors for me. Bring on the outdoors. But those guys that are on the road running the marathons, and I spoke a little bit about Cam Levin. So he was a Bowerman winner when he was at university in the USA. The Bowerman Award goes to the top male and female athletes in NCAA's. So he had a lot of good reputation coming in. But then he got injured and he couldn't figure out himself. And he did surgery in 2015 and he had eating problems and all sort of problems. But when he broke the half marathon record a few weeks ago, he says, you know what? I think I'm ready to go 205 in the marathon now. And
Hmm.
guess what? He did that last
Did that.
weekend. So it was awesome to see England man talk the time that he's going to run. So, he destroyed not only the Canadian record, he broke the North American record
Okay.
at the Tokyo Marathon as he did 2 minutes 05.36, which is he was good enough for fifth place there, which is a very high place in these marathons when the Africans, most of the Kenyans and Ethiopians dominate. So he was right there. And he's coming from 208 to 205. So
205. Yeah, wow.
kudos to him. You know what? He has struggled a lot, but he said he has figured out his training regime, he's figured out his eating regime, and he's figured out the mental part. He said he would go to the race wondering if he's fit enough, or he doesn't worry about those things. Worrying about if did he eat enough, did he eat at the right time. He doesn't worry about those things anymore. He goes out there, he trusts his coach and his training, and he delivers now. And a guy with a reputation like his, I don't know how much further he's going to go. I really don't. I think his coach is saying, yeah, he's a good 205, 204 guy. Kipchoge is going 159. So,
115.
but
Yeah.
yeah, he'll be there or thereabouts. And let's see how good he goes because, again, a Bowerman Award winner. So, he has the credibility and the abilities to get as far as he wants to. So, we'll see. I mean, I'm really, really happy to see how well he's doing because I was a big fan of his and then he didn't do anything for like 7 years. So, good to see him back and breaking records again. So, kudos to him. Awesome, awesome, awesome performance. But we're gonna go a little indoors because indoors is what's happening right now.
Hmm.
And honestly, Ingle, the sprints, whether it's over the hurdles or whether it's in the 60 meters, the Caribbean women are flying. And last night in the NCAA's, and this is not even the finals yet. This is just getting ready for the finals.
Getting ready. Yeah.
We're not there yet. This is just the heats. It was semifinals because it's just two rounds. But Julian Alfred, I mean, I think every week you have spoken about her. She has been breaking a
Yeah.
record every week.
She
And she
seemed to be.
did another one last night. She lowered the NCAA record. It's coming from 704 that she had last year, and she lowered it last night to 6.96 in the heats,
In the
slowing
heat.
down, going through the tape. So
Yeah.
St. Lucia must be just bouncing off the walls right now when they listen and talk about Julian Alfred. It
I
was
do have
awesome
a friend
performance.
from I do have a friend from St. Lucia, and she's always reminding me. Anytime I talk about the Jamaican sprinter, she's reminding me of Julian Alfred.
Yeah, no, you know what? She is doing some awesome stuff because even after the race, it was shocking to see her and her coach communicating, right? He never even congratulated her, right? They're talking about the mistakes that she made and she should be doing this and she should be doing that. Is that this woman is going to break the world record when she runs the finals? I don't know what's going on here, Ingle.
That's because I think, what, isn't it the fifth fastest time ever or
Fifth
something?
fastest time ever.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
when I met her last year in Guadeloupe. Very modest young lady. And she had a joke which I'll never forget. She says, you Jamaicans love me until I start meeting the Jamaicans. So let's see what
Wow.
happens when she goes outdoor
When she
against
goes outdoor.
the big name Jamaicans. But she's crushing all Jamaicans indoors. She's crushing
Yeah.
everybody indoors. And right now, I mean, granted, they're in New Mexico, which is considered altitude, so the times
Hmm.
are a little faster. But I believe she has a genuine shot of getting to that 692 in the final. And if she can get a world record there, Ingle, I'm telling you, man, the whole place, I mean, the whole Caribbean would probably blow up,
Okay.
not just
Yeah.
St. Lucia. So awesome performances from her. And you know what? She's a 100-meter runner, generally. She does decent in the 200, but now she's gotten so good at the 200. She ran 22.2 a couple weeks ago. And now she came, and last night she ran 22.36 in
Wow.
her semifinals, winning easily. And I had to say that time because the winner was Favor of Philly. She won the other semifinals in 22.11. So she's from Nigeria, and that was an African record that Ophelia ran. So Ophelia has been there or thereabouts in the 200. She's better at the 200 than the 100. And I think she has gone 21 outdoors. But I believe Ingle, and I don't know, sometimes I'm a betting guy.
Hmm.
I think Julian Alfred is going to take her in the finals tonight. I just get the feeling that
Yeah.
200-meter race, Alfred is going to go for her. And you may see an NCAA record tonight in the 200 meters as well because Alfred is not going to go down without a fight. So Ophelia's going to have to come with her A game. When I say her A game, I mean her A game to beat her. And we're going to see how that one goes. Interesting races tonight in the NCAAs.
For sure.
But also the NCAAs, Jamaica's Akira Nugent, formerly from Excelsior High in Jamaica, under 20 world record holder in the 60-meter hurdles, and she backed it up with an NCAA and a Jamaican national record in her heats. She ran 7.72, breaking that record from 1998, held by Michelle Freeman, 7.74. So,
She
national
was.
record, NCAA record, records are just popping here, but
She looked like she
awesome.
was in a race by herself when I
She
watched
was.
for the
She
first,
was.
after about 30 meters, she was just
She
moving
gone.
away. Yeah.
Gone. And the thing is, remember now, she's not the favorite coming in because the favorite is Masai Russell, who set the record earlier this year at 7.75. So she won her semifinals in 7.78. So when she ran in 7.75, Nugent was second in 7.81. Now she has gone from 7.81 to 7.72. Let's see what Masai Russell does in the final. So that's
Mm.
another race, Ingle. I think it's going to be records flying again. Flying. So we may see some
It's
world records
just,
tonight in the NCAA. So I think that's what the
I'm
future holds.
just, every weekend is just new record.
Just a new record. And
Yeah.
another Jamaican record was set last night in the long jump. So, Jamaicans are always about sprinting, but
Sprint. Hmm.
don't forget about the long jumpers now, as two guys, both of them went to Kingston College in Jamaica. Kerry McLeod, he went to the Olympics and did both triple jump and long jump at the Olympics. And last night, he was at fourth. And then he made one big pop, jumping 8.40 meters to win the title. Jamaican national record indoors. Um, in fourth place was the current high school record holder from Jamaica, Wayne Pinnock. He was at the World Championships as well. He did a personal best of 8.33. So when you really look at it, Jamaica has three long jumpers now over 8:30 all at the same time because Tajay Gale, the former world champion, he's also still out there and doing well, and he's gone 8:60. So right now, I wouldn't be shocked, and when Pinnock made the finals at the World Championships, to see three Jamaicans in the finals at
In
the
the
World
final.
Championships this year in the
Yeah.
long jump, not on the track, in the pits.
In the
So
will be fantastic.
that would be awesome to see. And with the sprint, you're gonna have Julian Alfred out there going on. So exciting times ahead, Inga. Really exciting times ahead for the Jamaicans and the Caribbean athletes, both men and women. and it's going to be really, really good as outdoors starts because, as I said, outdoors is where it's going to happen this year. This weekend we have some meets going on. So of course the NCAA, as mentioned, is finishing up over there in the USA.
Is there was there another long jump record as well in the women NCAA's?
In the women
I
NCAA
think
is Jasmine Moore.
Jasmine Moore, right?
Yeah, she jumped 7.03. So it's like, whoa. The Jamaican Akeelia Smith was second in 6.88, a big personal best for her. So yeah, she's going to be another one in the finals too, and she made the finals at the triple jump at the World Championship. So it's looking really well. The young Caribbean athletes, Ingle, they're all
Looking
coming up,
looking
all
good.
coming up. So this weekend we have in Jamaica the Curve the trials is going on. The under 20 and under 17 guys. They're looking to see if and Buwaj and Kume, who is the national record holder, did 10.02 for second last year at the World Juniors. He's in the finals. He jogged 10.19 last night. So everybody thinking he's
Hmm.
going to go, and we're going to see the first sub 10 by a schoolboy in
A
Jamaica's history.
schoolboy.
So
Wow.
let's see if it happens. We also have the GC Foster Classic going on, and a lot of MVP athletes will be there, including Sharika Jackson. She's going to run a 400 meter today. So let's see how she does. I mean, she has been flipping from 60 meters to 400, but I think what she wants to do is 400 at this time of year. So let's see how she does in the 400 meters. And over there in Australia, we have the Sydney Track Classic where Fred Curley, he seems to love Australia and he's doing a lot more talking to. He's going to be there running as well, and let's see how well he does. He says he's not focused on breaking any of Usain Bolt's record. He'd love to. He wants to win gold medals, be Olympic champion,
He's
world
smart.
champion. That's what he's interested in. Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy. He knows where he should be focused on.
Yeah, if the record comes, it comes, but don't
Yeah,
focus
you
on that.
don't focus on that because a lot of people who focus
Yeah,
on it, you know what happens to them. They never finish their careers. So
correct.
it's always interesting to see that. So in some news and notes, one of my favorite athletes, Olympic champion Damian Warner out of Canada, he
Hmm.
got injured at the World Championships last year in the decathlon. And he says after that catastrophic end to the last season, he's targeting a world record this year. So look out for him. I mean, the decathletes only have maybe 2 or 3 meets for the year. Um, if he says he's going to do it, Ingle, I put nothing past this man. I think we got to look out. We are on world record watch for Damian
Right.
Warner.
For
It's the best way
Damien.
to put it.
Mm.
Also, last week we saw IOC President Thomas Bach. He went to Jamaica for a short visit, and he's going to go all over the Caribbean. I think he's going to be in Barbados and a couple other countries as well. And one of the main things coming out of his visit is Jamaica has made it very clear that they will not be boycotting Paris 2024. Right now, we have 34, 35 countries saying they're seriously thinking about boycotting the event.
Hmm.
They've come out and says, nope, we're not doing it. So big support for Bach, who is trying to get the Belarusians and Russians there, with even as neutrals. The rest of the world is sort of saying, or at least those 35 countries are saying, no dice. I don't want them there.
Good dog.
It's going to be interesting to see how this works out because you don't want you get to spend all this money for the Olympics and then half of the world don't show up.
No, that wouldn't be good at all.
It would be horrible. So
Very.
let's see. So English, also sticking a little bit in Canada, going back to Canada, I should say. Alberta, after Hamilton, Ontario gave up their bid for the 2030 Commonwealth Games, Alberta is saying, you know what, we're going to give it a shot. We want to Commonwealth Games in Canada. They're going to see if they can get it done. So it'll be interesting. It'll be good to see it in Canada,
It'd be
although a lot
good.
of people
Yeah.
are saying the Commonwealth Games is not as interesting anymore. I don't know what you think about the Commonwealth Games, English. I know cricket is
I
new to the
don't.
game, so
Yes, cricket is expected to be there. The games. I was looking forward to Hamilton for a couple of reasons because I know if they put in the bid, you'll get a couple of new cricket pitches put in there,
there
grounds,
you go. And it's
and
close to home.
close to home, just a drive away.
Yeah.
Alberta, yeah, I actually got that. I got a notice about that. Alberta, they were having a meeting
Okay.
to to discuss. Yeah, to discuss the possibilities of hosting. So yeah, I think it's good for Canada to bid, but the games itself, as you mentioned, I don't think the thing about the games that I don't see the top athletes going there.
No,
So
no,
the
that's
games are
the problem.
losing its yeah
It
because
is. It
yeah,
is.
it's just losing the credibility because the top athletes stay away and let the and they I guess they go to the other meets and allow
Yeah.
the second tier athletes to be there.
Yep. Get a guy get a chance to represent his country. Get a medal, stuff like that. So it's not there for the right reasons anymore, but
You know,
you never know. Maybe by that time things change, but I doubt it. So let's see. In another news and notes, I think I was a little surprised by the statement, but I gave it some thought and maybe I understand where he's coming from. So Julius Kerwa, who's one of the managers over there in Kenya,
Hmm.
he says, yes, I believe that sprints in Kenya will one day overtake long distance running in Kenya.
Wow.
You know, long distance running has been our main area of dominance for many years, but I believe that sprints will one day over. And it shocked me. Man, it's like, what is he talking about?
Hmm.
But I don't know, Ingle, what your thoughts are on this. Do you think the
Sprints.
Kenyans can become the top sprinters in the world?
Well, they have what's the one of them who said he's gonna.
Mandali, yeah,
Among,
he's
yeah, he
become a
said
champion. Yeah,
he's talking a lot. He's gonna break this run 950 and whatever else. But yeah, I think I won't be surprised, Roger, because I think the world we live in today, people are like fast stuff now.
yeah, I know,
They
I
don't
know.
want to put in the training that you have to do to run long distance like before.
True.
Kenya and those countries are developing, so they don't have to walk or run the long distances back to school and forth back and forth like they did.
I know.
So all these things maybe can happen because even look at different sports. Everybody wants a quick version.
It is. Everything is just get in and get it over with. So, but one
Yeah,
of the reasons why he said is he said he was looking at the heats for like I think it was
the
some
heat.
championships,
Hmm.
and he said they had over 200 athletes showing up for the sprints, over 200, which is
Wow.
just unheard of. So it's taking
Wasn't
on in
wasn't there
Kenya.
an exchange with Kenya and Jamaica as well about training
A while back,
some
you
while
know what?
back?
They kept talking about it. They tried it. I don't think it was successful because I think
Okay.
not much came out of it. But they exchanged coaches and they had athletes coming here. I mean, coming to Jamaica, and I think some of the Jamaicans felt it was more them getting the benefit than we. I don't know what if that was the reason why
Okay.
it fell apart, but it didn't go through.
Wow.
Didn't go through.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see.
For sure, for sure. I'm looking out for that now that he has brought it to my attention. And I think finally from the news and notes, there's a high jump coach, Khan, in the UK,
Hmm.
and he has coached UK athletes, Olympic silver in high jump and all of that. Now he's banned, Ingle, banned for 3 years for using what they say is called mean language and mocking a para
Hmm.
athlete by walking with a limp. So it's I don't know what your thoughts on this whole
Um, as
three
soon as
years is a long time.
it's a long time. When I saw it, my first thought went to former president.
Yes,
He was
yes,
mocking and stuff, but he gets away with everything. So
he does. He
yeah,
does.
and yeah, but I think 3 years is a long time to
I
ban.
thought it was a little
It seems a
excessive.
little harsh, but
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
maybe they've decided, listen, we need to set an example, and
I think so. I
yeah,
think so. But I mean, I don't know. Apparently, he says, he doesn't give a whatever that you're crying or I couldn't care less and stuff like that. So you shouldn't be saying that to a para athlete for sure,
no, it shouldn't.
or mocking them. 3 years.
Yeah, it's a long
Uh,
time.
that's a message that is sent, a very powerful message. So you got to be careful as you move forward. So, yep, in terms of news and notes for track and field, that's about it. Let's get into some football, Ingo.
Yeah, some
Football,
football.
that
Mm.
beautiful sport.
Yeah,
Champions League. Let's start there.
PSG.
PSG. Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe on one team. And of course, Neymar is out. He got
Hmm.
injured. He's out for the rest of the season. France's former star from 1998, Christophe Degarry, said he's not happy that he's injured, but he's happy that he's not on the team and he should not come back to the team. so,
Yeah.
so that was his comment about PSG. But they went on and they lost to Bayern Munich. They lost 1-0 the first game, and Mbappe
Mm.
came on as a substitute that game. But this game, Mbappe started.
We
And it was
started, yeah.
Mbappe and Messi, the two greatest players in the world right now. And they lost 2-0, 3-0 on aggregate.
3-0, yeah.
So it's like,
So
whoa, I didn't see that. They spent a lot of money on this team.
because
And they
yeah,
get,
they were hoping to get a champion.
they have been trying to buy the Champions League for a while now, and they
Yeah,
can't.
but they
They've
can.
changed
Yeah.
coaches, they've gotten new players, and so the question is, Mbappe, is he gonna stay? Because they're saying he's gonna leave. So is he gonna stay? And he said the results has no bearing on his decision for the end of the season. So that's what he said. But I think he may go now, Ingle.
I think so. And we've been hearing this talk for the last few weeks. That's
Yes,
months, I could say.
months.
We were just hearing he's gonna go. You've been hearing discussions, about Messi gonna stay and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Weird
it's
enough, it
just
looks more like Messi's going to stay more than
it looks like
Mbappe.
yeah, it looked like Messi's gonna stay now. Yeah,
He's the Frenchman.
yeah, and he just recently broke the scoring record at the club.
Yes, he did. So,
So I thought he would want to stick around. Sentiment is his home ground, but
yeah.
maybe he wants to get the English play in England, and
I don't know.
it kind of looks like it's either Barcelona or one of the English teams. But
Yeah, I think he's probably more likely going to go to Spain. That type of money that he commands, he'll probably have to go to
yeah,
Spain to get it. I think.
to
Who
get the kind of
knows?
yeah,
The Qataris are buying up English clubs, so you never know. You may have
that's so
Spain
true.
England.
You,
So we'll
you
see.
might unless he ends up in Saudi playing against Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
But I
Uh,
don't think that combination is gonna stay for sure, and I
yeah,
don't even know if Neymar is gonna come back because he too seemed like he wants to go to play in England.
yeah, he wants to get out of there too. It's interesting. You have three greatest players all playing together, and it looks like they're all ready to go their separate ways. So
Yeah,
maybe it's egos, who knows? But a good thing this weekend was seeing Chelsea. I know you've had a beating this year, England, a
a lot of
beating
people,
over and over again. To see
a
they
lot,
finally rounded into form.
2-0,
I can see the smile on your face.
2-0.
They beat Dortmund 2-0. So they were down 1-0 from the first game. They came back, they won 2-0, and they won on aggregate. So they're going to the next round. So kudos to Chelsea.
Yeah,
Going on to the next round of the Champions League. While Tottenham, the other English team there, one of the other English teams there, they lost to AC Milan and they went out 1-0. And of
correct.
course, Harry Kane is not happy. They're saying they're going to get rid of the coach Conte. Richarlison is saying, they're not nice to him. So there's a lot of chaos right now in Tottenham. So problems in Tottenham, Chelsea rounding into form. So we'll see how those English clubs go. But as we talk about English clubs, we cannot just pretend as if it didn't happen in English. So I will accept it.
7-0.
I will accept the 7.
Theo
I will
should
speak
Theo
very.
accepted it earlier.
I know he did, and I have to speak very low and quiet when I talk about it. I can't speak loudly, but 7-0. It's like, what in God's name is happening here? The worst defeat since 1931.
Oh, yeah. But some of the things that came out of that, like I was reading some English newspapers and the things that the fans look at and talk about, because one of the big talking points after the game was that 2 days after, Rashford went to the mall in his $100,000 car. like, like, what is he gonna drive to the
Well,
mall?
should he borrow somebody
Oh,
else's? Should he
Buzz car.
rent a car?
Yeah,
What should he do?
exactly. What is he supposed to stay home and just cry? Oh, what?
These people have lives. What is
Exactly.
people just like to find something.
Yeah, it's
Something. And you know what? That's what was so great to see them bounce back 4 days later
poor.
and
Yeah,
beat Real Betis 4-1.
yeah,
So
it
that
was
was
good.
awesome to see because you know what? If they had lost again, it would be a downward spiral. But now they bounce back right away, 4-1, and if they win again this weekend, they're back on track. So let's see. Let us see. I think they're decent enough. I don't think they can win the league, um, but they have a shot at the FA Cup. They've already won the Carabao Cup, so I don't know what about this Europa, but they have a good shot at that. So you know what? At the end of the day, they may even end up with three championships,
They may, yeah.
and having three trophies is a huge deal. So let's see how well they do. But right now, good to see them bouncing back so quickly because that 7-1 was just embarrassing, just
Yeah,
absolutely
it was.
embarrassing.
It was for sure.
But when I look at the league, England, and I think this has been a talking point since like October, can Arsenal hold on? So we have all been
We've
singing
been
and saying
saying
that they
no.
have a couple weeks to go before they start to tank.
Yeah,
But we're now in March. Good March. And they need to buy
26,
5 points.
26 games, 10 games to go.
What do you think? Where's your money
I,
now?
well, 12 games to go. Yeah, I think they're gonna hang on. I,
I
I
Their
believe
last
they're gonna.
game, as I said last week, I think they're gonna remember you were saying they were down,
They were
and
done.
I
Yeah,
said they're gonna find a way to win the game, and they did,
they did. Yeah.
which is a sign that they are a championship team, in my opinion. When you can start
Hmm.
winning those type of games, I believe that they have the mettle to do it. 5 points is a lot of points with 10 games to go.
It is a lot. Yeah.
So it's not going to be easy for them to lose, but I've seen things like that happen.
It has
And
happened, but It's gonna be tough.
And as you watch tennis and play tennis, sometimes when you get to that match point, is the hardest thing to do is to win that match point.
Yeah, it
As
is.
they play more and more, as under the pressure, I think we're gonna see how good they are to face the pressure they're gonna face to say, I'm winning the league for the first time in 20 years
Hmm.
or 25, whatever it is, like how
Whatever it
many
is.
years. That's where the stress and the pressure is gonna come. So let's see how they do, but I give them a great shot. I'd be happy for them because they've been beaten up any way you look for the
They
last few
have,
years. So
they have been,
good to
and
see.
the fans who love them really love them too. So
Oh, they're
big
dedicated.
time. Well, just some scores in the league as we wrap up. Liverpool lost to Bournemouth 1-0.
They don't have strength for Manu.
Yeah, they only do. Everton, and these are halftime scores now. Everton 1-0 over Brentford. Leeds United and Brighton 1-1 at halftime. Leicester, Chelsea 2-1 over Leicester at halftime. Spurs over Nottingham Forest 2-0 at halftime. And the late game would be Crystal Palace and Manchester City. So,
Yeah.
and tomorrow's game, as you mentioned earlier, Arsenal and Fulham, Manchester United, Southampton, West Ham versus Aston Villa, and Newcastle versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. So some good, interesting games over the weekend, and no one can miss slip up.
There you go. It's down to the
Yeah,
business end of the season, so everybody has to be serious and do what they got to do at the right time. But Ingle, it was awesome as usual.
it was awesome as
Having this,
usual. We're out of
having our
time,
chat.
and
Ingle Roger Sports Hour on Love Bay Afrobeat Music and Talk Radio. Always good to be here on a Saturday. Always having fun. So much going on in this world of sports. And next week we'll be back to give you
we
more
will,
updates.
we will definitely, because we didn't even get to talk about the Canada's women going to Parliament,
No, yeah, and the
and we
black
still,
managers,
yeah, we still
all of
have to
that stuff.
discuss that. So
So
next week
things to
we'll
discuss, things to come up.
for sure.
Awesome. Have a great
So
weekend, all.
take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Bye bye.